Question is plain. Where's the Montana Kid?
The big shootout, the climactic shootout, is always a big deal in any Western. Jan, you're going to be pointing at Quentin. You draw your gun and you're going to point it at Paul.
I think the final confrontation was probably the most fun thing to do.
You want gunplay? Is that what you want?
When you work with like great stunts people and you have like these wonderful kind of fight sequences or anything physical, it's not just about your performance, it's about the choreography. It's teamwork.
When we actually roll film on it, everybody's going to go for it.
Weapons go hot, please.
Gun is hot, 14 rounds, total load.
We were dealing with 4 posse members, 5 townspeople, and the Montana Kid. This is the start of the shootout, and it's our big wide shot.
Once the blocking was sort of figured out where people were approximately, we broke it all apart and tried to break it into little pieces. But of course, that was done over multiple days.
The coverage we would need to get everything done, it just seemed monumental.
A-Mark?
And running around on horses and stunts and fist fights and shooting in the expanse of our entire town, which is larger than a football field.
Count of 3, everyone lowers their weapons. 1, 2.
Ready?
This time I think it prudent to go dead.
Christmas crackers.
You suppose we're square now?
Yeah.
Well, that's the funny thing about this film. It's called Gunless, but there are a lot of guns on set. And everybody digs guns. Whenever the guns come out, people want to come over and look at the different types of guns. And we've written the names of the guns in there, and the gun experts go, well, this technically isn't a Patterson. It's more of a Navy Colt 44, but it's a conversion in a 45. And I go, who cares? It's cool guns.
God, it's fun. I don't know what to say. It's like those old days, you know. It's like being a kid again. Just a boom, boom. My heart was just pounding. And they had me get my leg tied off because we were getting scrambling with the guns and stuff, just in case I got a little too into it and fell off the ground. Sad for the insurance.
And the funny thing about a Western, any actor you get on a set, be it Robert Duvall, Kevin Costner, Brad Pitt, as soon as you give them a gun belt and a single action pistol, suddenly they're 12 years old.
Is that part of the old costume? See that? Pretty smooth, right? Check this out. Ooh, also pretty smooth, just in a different way. Don't want to point that in the wrong spot.
And so he has to have the gun talk with every actor and go through the safety procedures and make sure everybody is cool with it. But there is a certain, you know, bounce that goes in the step of an actor who, when he gets his gun on his belt. It's a lot of fun. Cut! When people start talking the American and Canadian thing and they say, well, I guess it's gunless, it's about gun control in Canada. And I say, no, that's absolutely absurd. You know, that there are guns in this film and that there's a long history of guns in Canada, and certainly in the pioneering town, that was a big part of it.
Can Jack duel with my Winchester?
No, hang on. What about mine? Mine's practically brand new, see?
And so we've got shotguns and Winchester rifles and Colt 45s and Navy Colts and things that were supposed to be Pattersons that maybe not be Pattersons. You know, it's part of, you know, the iconography that is the Western, that there are cool guns around.
In another 2 weeks, in 2 weeks this should work, we hope. Otherwise, we gotta have a gun guy to come in and do it.
Any type of character that has a certain skill, a very special skill, you can't learn it at the last moment, or you can't fake it.
What's up now?
Paul Gross, he's been working with the gun now for months.
No, the gun I am not accustomed to, but I'm self-taught. I had a book, Gunslingers for Dummies, so I've been following that, and now I can spin it around, although it is absolutely hilarious, because half the time I spin it just flies right out of my hand. I'm sort of like a hazard, and the crew now knows to stay as far away from me as possible when I'm spinning this thing around madly. Hopefully by the time it comes that we have to shoot it, I'll be able to do it.
Whoa! I did that. But you can't do it again. Put it down.
And one day a friend was over and I was seeing him out and I followed him out onto the street. This is where I live in Toronto, and I was just spinning the gun and a cop was going by who kind of screeched to a stop, jumps out, and he has his hand on his weapon. And I'm kind of staring at him as I'm still spinning this gun around. He says, "Put the weapon down." I said, "What are you talking about?" "Put the weapon, oh, this. Put it down." Okay, so I put it down and he said, "Back away from the weapon." "Yes, yes." And then I tried to explain that I was doing a movie and it was just nuts. And he came up and looked at it. He said, "You do understand that this is prohibited." And I said, "Well, it's not even actually a gun. It's not like a replica." He said, "Yes, replicas are prohibited. A real gun is only restricted." So he said, "So you need to learn how to spin it around. You need to do stuff like this." And he picked it up and went, just like he was a master. And I tried to get him to kind of help me for half an hour, but he said he was too busy. So I'm not sure if I do any of it right, but that is your draw. This is a Colt 45 called the Peacemaker. It's probably the most reliable of the weapons. Kind of fan it along there. You see that it's all loaded. Very well balanced. Once you get that spinning down, it's not so hard. You did always have to cock it. It's not an automatic. Very few moving parts. Accurate up to about, in my case, about 5 or 6 inches. Now I'd probably miss you, but I could try. You hear that second click? That's the one you want to hear.
Paul basically took it on himself, learned how to do it, and I'd rate him as one of the best I've worked with.
Here's the gun, and you have them dead to rights. Gunfight.